Hi there, Ewan Spence here once more for All About Windows Phone and our video diary coming from Blog World here in Los Angeles down at Staples Convention Center. Here, of course, to give the field test to the Nokia Lumia 800, first Windows phone, how it's getting on in the field, how it works at a conference, and what people are making of it. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit how it works with social networking, a little bit about the People Hub, but also the sort of reaction that people are having when they see this phone. It's notable that a lot of people out here going, ooh, it's a Windows phone, and many people are saying it's the first Windows phone they've actually seen in the flesh. Now, that says a lot about the other companies and the amount of marketing that's been done, but at the same time, Microsoft, it'd been a low ramp up for 7.0. 7.5 was always the one that sort of brought it into the smartphone territory, and that's the case now. I'd say maybe 20 people or so have actually had to take a good look at this. I'm going to start right off on this home screen, because there's no indication what you have to do there, except if you touch it, it bounces a little, and everybody has picked up on that visual clue. They touch the screen, they see it bounce, they slide it up. Smart thinking there takes them to the start task, and they just start moving through. They start seeing things shift, and there's an initial, wow, that's different. But at the same time, I've never really had to explain to people what they've had to do. They see the big arrow so they can see the other applications that are coming in on the other side and quite happily scroll through. They're moving up and down these tiles. They're happy to touch them and see what's exploring and things that are moving around. There's some smart work going on here that makes people instantly understand what is going on. That's important, not because of the little bit of power users that are at the top of the bell curve need guidance. It's for everybody else. That big block of people that want something smart when they walk into a phone shop, but they also want something that's easy to use, a little bit different, feels new and futuristic. Windows Phone is delivering that. In terms of the styling, people are just like, oh, that's lovely. And much as all the websites and reviews I've seen so far, and the connectivity is I've not been having the time to go through everybody. Everyone's going, oh, it's a bit like the N9, maybe they should use the N9. You know what? Nobody here at Blog World knows about the N9. Nobody knows that there was once a Linux phone that got released in outer Swaziland. They just go, here's a phone, it's from Nokia, we know that name, it's running Microsoft Windows Phone, which we've heard good things about, and boy does it feel nice. And boy does it look good. And then you start showing them the People Hub, which is what I was using it for yesterday at the conference, and they just love it. The initial impression of this is one of the best initial impressions I have seen for a long time. Steve Garfield, good video blogger, got it in his hand, and he found a little bit about the cursor. That when you hold to edit something, when you hold your finger down, the cursor pops up so you can move it, but it pops up above your finger, so you can move your finger underneath the letter and still see the cursor. Little UI touches like that, like the bounce on the lock screen, like the sort of subtle indications to get to the apps and everything. It all just fits together and works. For everybody who says, oh, it's about big fonts, it's about that they get cut off at the side. It's about usability. This is usable. But what about when I'm actually on the conference floor actually doing it? I left the laptop at the hotel. I did have the E7 in my little bag, but it only came at once. When somebody went, that looks a bit like previous Nokia phones, I put the E7 next to it, and it's like father and son. If your father was the elephant, man. Even though the E7 is a wonderful piece of design, and I'd love to see that running Windows Phone, there is something that just clicks with this. So this was it. This was the one that used everything. So tweeting, Facebooking status, pictures going up, all of that came through. Speaking of pictures, only about maybe one or two people asked about does it have a certain application. Everybody else was more than happy with the integration for the Facebook, Twitters, LinkedIn, and so on that you came through. The applications that were asked for those of you who are interested, somebody wanted Hootsuite, which allowed multiple Twitter, multiple Facebook accounts going up to all your social networks. Another somebody who's really streaming up a lot. Basically, the People Hub doesn't have enough options yet. And the other one was Instagram. Lots of people wanting to get in to be able to fix the pictures, have a play around with them, put them up into a social network. You kind of have that in a third-party application called Pictures Lab, but it doesn't have its own social network behind it. It allows you to put them up onto Facebook and Twitter, so I can make the banner for going in looking a bit like a Polaroid, for example. You'll see some examples of that on facebook.com/EwanSpence. Let's see, People Hub. Sending up uploads, deciding whether to send them into Twitter or Facebook. It's just so easy. You go in to your me tile, you hit post a message, you hit the filter to decide which social networks you want to go to, and you type. You press send and it's done. Same with pictures. You just go to your gallery, you hold finger down, you hit the share, you hit the share to Facebook, you hit share to WordPress or Twitter. You go in. I love in Facebook that it automatically has a face recognition stage. Would you like to type this as a person? When you're at a busy conference like this, that's great. You snap a picture of somebody like CC Chapman. You go to upload it. The picture goes, who is this? And you go, it's CC Chapman. All tagged, all plugs in, and it allows people to start reacting and have that conversation online. And that's where the other huge advantage, I think, of the People Hub comes in, the MyTel comes in, which is the notification screen, giving you that screen of all your interactions, people who are talking to you over all your social networks, means that I can pick it up, press one glance, it says like 4 new items, I can go tap, 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 reply if I need to. Something like, Ewan, we're off to this bar, why don't you come along for a drink, right? Tim Hayden in this case. Done, I'm there. And it allows you just to get in, get the information, go out again. Which leads me to battery life. This rhythm of in and out means that a lot of the time Windows Phone, you're not looking at the screen all the time. It's just sitting in your pocket. When you bring it out, it's very intense. It's very quick to get all the actions that you need to get done. You go up, you take a picture, you upload it to your Facebook, you see the notifications, you put it back in your pocket. That can all be done in 30 to 45 seconds. It's incredibly fast, and that means that you're not spending a lot of time with the screen at full brightness with all the circuits firing off in the background. It made a full day. It got to the end of the conference at 5-6 o'clock. It got through the dinner. It went to the evening party that was on top of some weird nightclub that just made me feel like I was expecting Danny Glover to come in at the moment chasing after Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was that kind of nightclub. And it got to the end of the day. Okay, it finished with about 10 or 11% of battery power left, and I think I only made one call today. But the rest of it was online, on Wi-Fi, on connectivity. It got through the day. And I had the Pro Porter spare battery with me, and I was expecting to have to give that a top-up over the dinner period because it went down to 0. It hadn't. Now, this wasn't intense use, let's be honest. This was that rhythm of use that Windows Phone seems to have. But the bottom line is, this goes back to the Nokia keynote where he started reeling off camera stats. But you know what? It takes great photos that you want to share with your friends. The 800 lets me interact with the social network, tells people what's happening at Blogboard, it keeps an eye on what all my friends are doing, and it just does it awesomely, lets me do it. End of story. As a reporting tool at a conference, to get that sort of social media clips and everything getting up, does the job. From a full journalistic point of view, let's have a look at that later on down the line. It would be good to check things like media, photos, videos, such like what sort of quality you're getting back from them, long form conversations, long form typing articles on there. That needs to come in as well. But again, most people in that sort of broad middle bit of the bell curve, people who are going to be using it, are going to be doing a sort of social media integration, and I think that's what's going to happen there. You can leave your comments and questions back in the comments for these videos or twitter.com/Ewan. There was one question I wanted to address from part 1. Someone was asking, you're in the States, what are you using to get online? It's an AT&T SIM. The PR phones that we've got from Nokia are unlocked, which means we can put in any network card. If you buy them in the UK from like Vodafone or Orange, they may well be locked. You will have to check on that, and your mileage may vary. It is a micro SIM, so I have a micro SIM card at home. AT&T Go Phone SIM only. It's about $25 to buy the card, and that $25 is added to the value of the card. Punch that out to a micro SIM, stick it in the tray, and you're away rocking and rolling. Back at the start of the year, I bought one of those and put $100 on it. That gave me the US number and kept it active for 1 year. It's $2 a day if I make a call or send a text, and I get then unlimited national calls and national texts in the US. So basically it's like $10 for a trip over here, and it doesn't do anything else for the rest of the time. Data is $25, gives you 500 megabytes. From experience, I'm rocking at about 120, 130 megabytes a week, because I was over in Orlando 2 weeks ago and kept an eye on it there for a family holiday for 8 days. I'll give you a full data count on how that happens once I get back to the UK. But that 500 meg is more than enough to get your average Windows phone through a month. I think Paul Thoreau did an article online, said he was pulling down about 270, 280 megabytes a month from average usage from his Windows phone, so you're comfortably in that 30-day window of 500 megabytes. Right, comments and questions, love to have them, especially while I'm out in the field. Obviously, we can field them when I get back to the UK as well. But for now, I'm going to head back into the conference, back into the heat and the smog that is Los Angeles. And you are going to wait for Steve to edit this video, put it up online, and leave some comments over the weekend, and I will address them then. For now, from LA, the 800 Lumia is batting above average. There we go.